He was the voice of a generation, a man whose songs defined love, loss, and longing. But what the world didn't see was the heartbreak hiding behind the music. At the peak of his fame, Jackson Browne faced a tragedy so devastating it nearly silenced him forever. The woman he loved, the mother of his child, was suddenly gone, and nothing could ever be the same again. This is the untold story of how Jackson Browne lost everything and found his voice again. In the early 1970s, Jackson Browne was already making waves in the American music scene. He had that rare combination of lyrical depth and emotional honesty that set him apart. Around this time, he met Phyllis Major, a stunning actress and model living in Los Angeles. She was striking, confident, vibrant, and full of life. When Jackson met her, it was like two universes colliding. Both were young, ambitious, and at the height of their creative powers. What began as a spark quickly turned into a deep, consuming love. Their connection wasn't just romantic, it was magnetic. Phyllis often appeared alongside Jackson at music events, and friends described them as inseparable. In 1973, their love story took a new turn when Ethan Zane Brown was born. The birth of their son seemed to complete the picture of the perfect musical family. Later that year, the three of them, Jackson, Phyllis, and little Ethan, appeared together on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. It was an image that captured everything fans believed about them: youth, beauty, and happiness. But as is often the case in stories like these, the picture-perfect surface hid a far more fragile truth. Behind the glamour of fame, Jackson Browne's world was quietly falling apart. His music career was soaring, hit albums, sold-out tours, endless interviews. But at home, the weight of it all was crushing his young family. Phyllis Major, once a vibrant model and actress, had stepped away from the spotlight to raise their son. The shift from red carpets to long, lonely days at home left her feeling invisible. Friends began to notice the change. She stopped attending parties, ignored calls, and often stayed alone for hours, lost in thought. After giving birth, Phyllis struggled deeply. Today we might call it postpartum depression, but back then it went unnoticed and untreated. Jackson later confessed, "I was trying to make things better, but I couldn't read her mind." In late 1975, they married privately, hoping it might bring peace. But instead, the distance grew wider. His constant touring made her feel forgotten. "I feel like I'm being swallowed up," she told a friend. Then came the night that shattered everything. In March 1976, at their Laurel Canyon home in Los Angeles, Phyllis Major was found unresponsive. The cause, a drug overdose. She was only in her 20s. Jackson was away performing when he got the call. Their son Ethan was just 3. The funeral was small, quiet, and heartbreaking. No cameras, no statements, just silence. In the days that followed Phyllis Major's death, Jackson Browne vanished from public life. He canceled every show, every interview, and shut himself off from the world. Friends said he barely spoke for days, locked in his room, surrounded only by silence and grief. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was devastation. Though Phyllis's family never publicly blamed him, their relationship with Jackson grew distant. For months, he lived quietly behind closed doors, trying to care for little Ethan while figuring out how to keep going when every part of him wanted to stop. When Jackson finally returned to the studio, it wasn't for fame or money. It was an act of survival. From that dark, lonely place came one of the most emotional albums of his career, The Pretender. The music was different this time. Gone were the light melodies and optimism that once defined his sound. What replaced them were heavy, sorrowful tones and lyrics that felt like fragments of a broken soul. The standout song, Here Come Those Tears Again, carried a unique weight. It was co-written with Nancy Farnsworth, Phyllis's mother. Together, they turned shared pain into poetry, a grieving husband and a grieving mother, expressing what words alone could never capture. Every track on The Pretender bled emotion. Songs like Sleep's Dark and Silent Gate and The Pretender told stories of loss, confusion, and the search for meaning after tragedy. There was no promotion, no press circus, just the music. And yet its impact was undeniable. Fans and critics alike could hear the ache in every line. It wasn't just an album. It was a confession, a healing, and a testament to how sorrow can be transformed into something timeless and true. After releasing The Pretender, Jackson Browne slowly began to rebuild his life. He devoted more time to his son Ethan, determined to be the father he hadn't always been able to be. He rearranged his schedule to prioritize family, carving out moments of peace amidst the chaos of fame. In 1981, he married Lynn Sweeney, another model, and together they had a son named Ryan. But even that new chapter came to a quiet end a few years later. There were no scandals, no dramatic headlines, just another silent goodbye in a life already shaped by loss and reflection. As the years passed, Jackson's music evolved. Albums like Hold Out and Lawyers in Love still carried echoes of sorrow, but they also revealed maturity and contemplation. Though he no longer sang directly about Phyllis Major, her presence lingered in every note. His lyrics turned from the excitement of youth to deeper themes: resilience, meaning, and the search for balance in a complicated world. During live performances, Jackson often revisited songs from The Pretender. Listeners would notice how he sometimes paused mid-performance, falling into silence before continuing. Those brief, wordless moments said everything. They were his quiet tributes to Phyllis, reminders of the love and loss that had shaped him. By the mid-1980s, Jackson's focus had expanded. The grief that once fueled his art transformed into awareness of the world around him. He became a founding member of Musicians United for Safe Energy, Muse, using his platform to advocate for clean energy and nuclear disarmament. Through albums like Lives in the Balance and World in Motion, he turned his voice into a call for compassion, peace and change, proving that even from tragedy, purpose can rise. Those who worked with him during this time described him as humble and driven. He didn't chase publicity or fame. He simply showed up, did his part, and left when the work was done. His activism wasn't a performance. It was a continuation of the emotional honesty that had always defined his music. Every song he wrote after Phyllis's death seemed to reach beyond himself, turning personal pain into something universal. Even as his career evolved, Jackson never completely left the past behind. At his concerts, he often included a subtle tribute, a brief silence, a knowing glance, or a line delivered with a different kind of weight. Those who understood his story recognized it immediately. It was his quiet way of keeping Phyllis's memory alive, not as a wound, but as part of the man and the artist he had become. In time, Jackson Browne came to embody more than just a musical legacy. He became a symbol of endurance, the idea that loss doesn't have to destroy you. It can transform you. Through his journey, he showed that pain and purpose can coexist, that even after everything falls apart, there is still beauty to be found in what remains. Today, his songs continue to resonate across generations. Listeners still hear echoes of that tragic night in Laurel Canyon, woven into the melodies of his timeless music. But they also hear something else: strength, wisdom, and the quiet hope that life, no matter how fragile, always finds a way forward. Jackson Browne's story isn't just about fame or tragedy. It's about what happens after. It's about turning grief into art, silence into song, and heartbreak into something that helps others heal. His journey from personal loss to global activism stands as proof that the human spirit, though fragile, is endlessly resilient. So, what do you think of Jackson Browne's story? Was The Pretender his greatest masterpiece born from pain, or from the courage to turn heartbreak into hope? Let us know in the comments below. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful untold stories behind music's greatest legends. Thanks for watching.